My name is John McCallamont, and on this episode, we're going to see how some aluminum and a little bit of copper and some steel turns this Goodman into your heating and cooling unit. Keeps you cool in the summer, warm in the winter. All of that on this episode of Built in America. When you hear the term made in America, what does that mean? Well, it means American workers building products with pride and craftsmanship. Workers that are employed in America, companies making money in America, products that are made right here in America. And that's what we do. On this show, we feature products that are built in America. We're just outside of Houston in Waller, Texas, at one of the largest facilities that I've ever been in my entire life. Today we're going to meet up with Joe Campbell. What is he going to do? He's going to show us how Goodman keeps you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. We're going to see how their units are made from start to finish. Joe, how you doing?
Hi John, welcome to the DTTP.
Man, I hear this place is like over 4 million.
Yes it is, it's quite a large facility.
It was Buffalo, New York in 1902 that the first working electrical air conditioning unit came to be. The first home to get an air conditioning unit was Minneapolis, Minnesota, the year 1914. In 1975, HVAC dealer Harold V. Goodman wanted to bring affordable air conditioning to American homes. After acquiring a company and improving the technology, Harold Goodman reinvented the air conditioning and heating systems to be more efficient and more affordable than ever.
John, welcome to the DTTP manufacturing floor. The whole process starts with this coil of aluminum right here.
This is just a big coil of sheeted aluminum?
That's right.
And this is where my air conditioner heater come from?
Yes.
Really?
Every air conditioning system's basically got three main components. We're used to seeing the big outdoor unit that sits on the side of our house, or sometimes it's on the roof, and it's got a big fan on it and then the coil wrapped around it.
Yeah, I know that.
Then inside the house, there's a couple different configurations, but typically there's either an air handler there with an A coil on top or some kind of furnace with an A coil on top.
Yeah.
So in the case of an air handler, the heating and cooling is coming from the outdoor unit with the A coil, where in the case of a furnace, it's providing the heating and the cooling's coming from the outdoor unit working with the A coil.
Yeah, and that's where I change out my filters. That's the part I know about.
That's right, and hopefully with a Goodman unit, that's all you ever do.
Yeah, hopefully so, yeah.
But we're at the furnace line. Now this is a high efficiency furnace,
Yeah.
so this is a bit of a special furnace, and it's got basically two heat exchangers inside the furnace itself. There's a regular tube heat exchanger, but there's also a fin heat exchanger to get higher efficiency, and it all starts right here. This coil gets mounted on the machine right in front of us here.
Let's check that out.
These coils tend to be about 10 to 15,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And it basically gets fed into this machine where it comes in as a coil. It's basically almost like a real thick aluminum foil, and it comes out as a fin. We'll show you over here. This is the output of that process. And there's a lot of science that goes into this fin from the standpoint of creating the spacing and then the features that give us the optimal heat transfer for the part.
So this is actually what's helping provide the cooling and the heating inside of my home.
That's right, that's right.
Now this is just a thin sheet of aluminum with holes in it.
Right.
How do you?
But it's basically this whole stack that comes together. Put this back. And on this stack, we basically put it in this series of machines over here, and if we want, we walk into the process, and I'll show you how we make it.
And that's how all of this kind of gets married together, so it's just not all flopping around.
That's right. This piece gets married with the tubing and creates what we call the heat exchanger that then gets mounted into the furnace.
Let's go look at that.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, John, what you're seeing here is we've taken the fins and we're adding the heat exchange tubes to it. So he's going to be putting all of the tubes in those holes. It's a very loose fit. You can just kind of slide them right in there. And then once he gets them all in, they'll go over to this next machine we call an expander that actually expands the tubes to create a mechanical interference between the tubing.
Can I touch one?
Oh, yes, of course.
So this tube right here.
This tube right here is sitting inside there, and it'll be expanded out so that we have very good mechanical contact between the fin and the tube so that you get good heat exchange.
Wow. And you're just popping them into every hole right there, aren't you? So can I do one? Hey, that's pretty cool. And this machine expands them so that they stay in.
That's correct. It's a very high tonnage machine that actually presses with what we call a bullet that basically pushes the tube. And as it does, it expands the tube into the aluminum and creates that interference fit.
Oh, and here we go.
Here's one that's already been, and you can see once it's done, it's all mechanically attached now.
Oh, yeah. This all came from that one sheet of aluminum fed into that first machine we looked at.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
It's a scorcher. You know what's worse than heat and humidity? It's when your home's heat pump breaks down.
Oh, no.
That's when they call me, an independent Goodman dealer.
Thank goodness.
I'll install a new energy-efficient, refreshingly affordable Goodman heat pump. When your home feels like it's the hottest place on earth, it's good to know there's a local Goodman dealer nearby.
Daddy's home.
Hey!
Long day.
Thank goodness for Goodman.
So Joe, you keep taking me to these big rolls. Is this another roll of aluminum?
No, this is actually a roll of painted steel, and this is the other part of what that kind of starts making a furnace. This is the beginning of our wrapper line that actually makes the casing that we build the furnace around.
So really, when you think about it, everything is made here, isn't it?
Most of the components in a furnace we make here in-house. Hey John, why don't you load it to the line and we'll get started here.
Now this is starting to look familiar. This is what I see inside of my house.
This is the output of that machine that basically makes the wrapper for the furnace line.
See, who are you? Oliver.
Yeah.
I'm John.
Jimmy.
Can I make this?
Yeah, you can make it.
All right, let's do this. So what, I just throw it up there?
Throw it up there. You grab the blower deck. Hold it like this here.
So this is
Hold it
the
like
blower
this.
deck.
The blower deck.
This is where all the air comes through right here. Oh, how cool is that?
Now you want to open that side up first.
All right.
Make sure it's lined up there.
Yeah.
Slide it between there. Go back.
Go back. Now you made this look earlier a minute ago when I was watching.
Like that. You turn it down. That way so they can put the screws in.
Ah, check that out. Air flows through. This is actually what you see in your house that's delivering cold and hot air. Of course, there's a lot more that goes in this, isn't there?
That's right. This is just the beginning of the process.
This is just the beginning of the process. When did they actually start putting items in there?
Well, we can walk down the line and show you how we put them together.
That's cool. Let's go check that out. Hey, thank you, man.
You got it.
This is quite a process to put all of this together. Everybody, one specific job to make all of this come together at the end. Wow, so this is like ready to go.
Yeah, this is basically a fully built unit. If you look on the other side, there's still the doors that haven't been put on. We don't do that until we get it through the run testers and verify performance, and then we dress it out and package it up for shipment.
So what are they actually doing right over here?
What you're seeing right now is the run test.
So is she actually going to ignite everything and put some gas through this and make sure it works?
Yeah, she'll be hooking it up just like it would be installed in your home and basically testing all the performance of the unit to verify it's operating properly.
So she's just clamping on a gas
Gas
hose.
valve, right. And now the scan she just did, what she's doing there is she's tying that unit to all of the performance that's already come down the line. So as soon as we start a unit, it has an identity.
Oh,
and all
really?
the critical
like its own true identity.
like its own name. And
Wow.
everything that comes down the line, all the critical components are tied to that unit, and then all the performance testing parameters are also tied to that unit. So we have a very good history of what's going on with that unit from the beginning of the line to the end. And if there's any problems,
I see little scan codes on each and every part in there.
right, that's right. All the critical parts all have the codes on it. And then the unit can't get off the end of the line with a proper label unless all the proper components have been scanned in and it's passed all the tests.
So we're basically ready to go into a house.
They come out of the run tester. All we got to do is put the doors on them and then labels and package them up and get ready to ship to the customer.
So they're going to pop these doors on there.
Pop the doors on and then we're ready to go.
Wow, this is how your Goodman goes from just some steel and some aluminum all the way to the furnace that's going to keep you warm during the winter, isn't it?
That's correct.
That is pretty amazing. Now, I know we've got an outside unit that works with this as well.
That's correct.
So I guess we need to take a look at that, Tony.
All right, let's go head over to the other side of the plant
awesome.
and show you.
I might just keep this, put it on my wall at my house. My little Goodman trophy right there.
You know what's worse than aching cold? A lot worse? When your home's furnace breaks down.
Oh my.
That's when to call me, an independent Goodman dealer.
Oh, thank goodness.
I'll install a new energy-efficient, refreshingly affordable Goodman gas furnace. When your home feels like the coldest place on earth, it's good to know there's a local Goodman dealer nearby.
Welcome home. Daddy.
Thank goodness for Goodman.
Joe, you brought me to another roll of steel.
Yeah, this is where we start the fabrication of the sheet metal components for the outdoor units.
Oh, really?
So what we're looking at now is the louver line that actually produces all the louvers.
Oh, so when I look at my outside unit and I see all those louvers,
exactly.
This is being
so
made
it's
right
all
here.
of the wraparound that goes on. It starts with the steel, it goes through the press,
Oh, wow, look at
and
that.
then you get a finished louver coming out the other side.
Oh, wow. Is it hot?
No.
Very, very cool. And where are all the other pieces at? They just
So
all...
after sheet metal, these will go to get paint.
Yeah?
There's some tops and bottoms that are going now.
Oh, I see. So this is the bottom of the unit. And then the sides and
There's
all of
some
that
tops
stuff.
there.
Top of the unit right over there. So where does all of this get that famous Goodman color at?
Well, we got the paint lines just over to the other side
Oh,
of
you
the bay.
paint them here too?
We paint them internally, yep.
Wow. Well, let's go check that out.
Okay.
Man, this looks like a processor hanging all this stuff up, and it looks like it's going into a secret room.
Exactly. Yeah, once it goes behind, because it's a heated washer back there, we have the panels up so that we keep the heat isolated from the operators in the plant. But basically it goes in, all the parts get washed, then it goes through a powder coat system, comes out the other end of the line, painted, gets stacked and then prepped for...
Oh, so right here it goes in unfinished.
Right.
You do a powder coating process on it.
Exactly.
And then right over here, and it's dry already.
These are painted louvers and they're ready to go to assembly.
Really? That's a pretty fast process, isn't it?
It takes about an hour to go through the loop.
Oh, I can imagine it does. And so is that all automated behind there?
Yes. It's an automatic spray booth as far as the washer, and then into the powder paint booth that's automatic, and then it gets cured in an oven and then back out here.
You know, you
so
don't
the only
think-
thing manual is the load and unload.
You don't think about all these processes that go into making an air conditioner when you're thinking
And this
about
is just
that.
painting the
And
stampers.
this is just painting, and it's got several multi-step processes.
Yeah, that's right. And this is just the stamped components that are the beginning of the parts that go into the assembled unit. If you want now, we can head over to assembly and I'll walk you through how we assemble it.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Hey, have you ever thought about getting one of those little things on your wrist? This plant is so big. I'm just curious how many steps you take a day walking around this thing.
It's well over 10,000 a day. My wife kind of likes it because she says I'm starting to slim
It
down a
keeps
little
you
bit.
thin. So we've got our painted base, and now it starts to become a unit, right?
Exactly. So we take the base pan, we marry the compressor to it, and it basically starts through the process. We do a quick sub-assembly of that here, and then it gets married up to the main line where it begins the process of assembly. Now, just like how we talked about on the furnace line, once that unit starts on the line, it establishes an identity tied to the pallet that it's on, and it maintains that identity the whole way down the line, and all of the key components along with all the key performance parameters are logged for that unit. So here they're starting to put all the brazed tubing on, and then we marry the coil to the tubing. So the coil is getting bent on the machine behind us, and then it comes into the unit. Again, that got scanned.
And he just scanned it, so that's got its own identity going right there.
Exactly. So again, we're tying that coil to that production unit.
Wow. And they're brazing all the copper and hooking all the lines up. And then after all this gets wired up, you're almost done.
It's a functional unit now. So the next thing we do is we do a standard test called a high pot check, just to check it for it's a high voltage requirement for the unit. Similar to the furnaces, every unit's checked to verify that it has full functionality before it's allowed to go down further down the line.
That is incredible.
So these units will basically do all the checking of functionality of the unit, make sure the compressor's working properly, make sure the fan and the motor's working properly.
So you're going to run it through all of its steps right here.
Right.
So when that air conditioning tech comes to my house to put this in, he knows 100% that this is a fully functional unit. That's pretty amazing. And then of course the old Goodman logo goes somewhere right in,
goes on right at the
somewhere
end.
right in there, right? Look at that. That's where that logo is going to go. And when this gets to your house, there's no way it's not going to work. It's gone through way too many quality control checks. It's going to last a lifetime, isn't it?
Yeah, we're pretty proud of the process we've set up here relative to being able to make sure we can guarantee quality coming out of the plant.
It's a scorcher. You know what's worse than heat and humidity? When your home's air conditioning breaks down.
Oh no.
That's when they call me, an independent Goodman dealer.
Thank goodness.
I'll install a new, energy-efficient, refreshingly affordable Goodman air conditioner. When your home feels like it's the hottest place on earth, it's good to know there's a local Goodman dealer nearby.
Daddy's home.
Hey!
Long day.
Thank goodness for Goodman.
So Nathan, I just saw this built on your factory floor. Tell me what some of the things are that make this stand apart from all of the other furnaces out there.
Well, Goodman is known in the industry as the heat transfer experts. And the heart of any gas furnace is the heat exchanger inside the gas furnace. Now, Goodman utilizes wrinkle bin technology inside of our gas furnace in each and every one.
So we got the big fan down here and it's blowing the air and the heat is right here and that's sending the heat to your household.
That's exactly right, John.
And it's these type of bins that's making it more efficient?
That's right. You see here on the inside diameter, we wrinkle the tube before we bend it. What that allows is for less thinning of the outside diameter, but it also, as the air moves through, as the gas moves through this tube, it makes the gas more turbulent, which increases the efficiency of the heat transfer in this particular technology.
So if I understand that correctly, you know, the gas is running through here obviously, and the gas is already hot.
Yes.
But when it hits these wrinkles and it starts moving in a turbulent pattern, you're getting a more efficient heat transfer from that air moving across this all throughout your house.
That's exactly correct, John.
And does that make my energy bill a little less at the end of the month?
That's exactly correct.
I like that. So now we know how the house is staying warm. Does this over here help cool the house?
It sure does.
Awesome. Let's take a look at that.
All right, what you see here is Goodman's all aluminum evaporator core.
Wow, so that's what keeps my house cold in the summer, right?
That's part of what keeps your house cold, but it can also be part of what keeps your house warm in the winter if you're in a market that doesn't use gas but uses a heat pump.
Oh, wow. So that's a heat pump also for like houses that don't have gas hooked up to them.
That's exactly correct. See, in the summertime, cold refrigerant moves through these tubes, and the air comes up through there and delivers cold air to your house. In the wintertime, if you have a heat pump, warm refrigerant moves through or hot refrigerant moves through these tubes, and the air moves through the coil and delivers warm air to your house.
And basically, we were just out in the plant, and all of this comes from one big roll of aluminum, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Man, it's all built right here in America at this particular plant, every single aspect of this.
We built it right here in Texas.
That is incredible. Now, this is a unit that's all put together, correct?
That's correct. This is the inside of an air handling unit, we'd call it.
And where would you typically see this type of unit installed?
This unit could be used all over, but it's very common in the state of Florida.
Why is that?
Well, in the state of Florida, being a warm climate, not a very cold climate, they don't use gas heating very often. And so this would be the indoor portion of an air conditioner or a heat pump.
Now, we all know that there's another aspect of all of this. It's the unit that you see outside of the house.
That's right.
Can you show me one of those?
Yeah, we've got several right over here.
Oh, wow, you do. You've got a whole display line set up, don't you?
Yes, we do. We've matched the outdoor unit with a typical indoor unit that might be used for a full system in a home.
Wow, very, very nice. And so which one of these would we see at a typical household?
This one right here would be typical in many American households.
Oh, yeah. So what sets this apart from the rest?
Well, this is Goodman's air conditioner, and we use inside of it 5mm tubing. And what that does is it optimizes the heat transfer of the refrigerant and keeps the unit smaller than most other units.
Yeah, because I was going to say, this looks smaller than most units I see on homes.
Yes, that's right.
So is this relatively new technology?
We've been using this technology over the last few years, but we did pioneer this technology, absolutely.
So it makes a smaller footprint and also a more efficient unit to put on the outside of your house.
That's correct, John.
Now, what do you guys do with these units? I mean, these things, they sit outside in the elements year in and year out, yet they still look brand new. A lot of thought has to go into that, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We're passionate about the quality of every single aspect of this unit, including the paint that we use, because we know it's going to sit outside the home for many, many years.
That is incredible. Goodman, right here, this entire unit, all the way from a big, huge, round tube of aluminum that's stamped out and some steel that's stamped out to be put into a unit that keeps you cool in the summer, keeps you warm in the winter, and it is completely and 100% built in America. Now that's cool stuff, Nathan.
Thanks, John.
What an awesome day we had here at Goodman. And if you'd like to see more on this plant, all you got to do is go to builtinamerica.tv. We've got a whole lot more footage there for you to take a look at. And if you know a company that you'd like to see featured on our show, hey, reach out to us. We'll get them on here. My name is John McCalmont, and this is Built in America.